You know, I was scrolling through my social feeds this morning, which I'll be honest is a terrible way to start the day.
Oh, it's the worst.
And I was just bombarded. It's the same thing every single morning. Fitness influencers, perfect lighting, shouting at me to crush my core at 6 a.m.
The whole rise and grind culture, it's a lot.
It's a lot, and it feels so uniquely now, doesn't it? You just assume this whole thing, this weird obsession with a charismatic trainer on a screen. We must have invented that.
Right, that the home workout craze is a product of the internet age.
Exactly. But, and this is why I love doing these deep dives, what if I told you that's completely wrong?
Oh, I have a feeling you're gonna...
What if the exact same thing, and I mean the exact same thing, corporate sponsorships, medical backlash, all of it exploded over 100 years ago?
And not on a screen.
Not on a screen,
How
through
thorough.
the air itself. So today we're unpacking a really fascinating piece of media history. It's an article by Donna L. Halper called Exercise and Expertise, How Early Broadcasting Promoted Health Education.
And I have to say, reading through it, this is not just some dry history lesson.
Yeah.
It's dramatic. It's almost a detective story.
It really is. So here's the mission for this deep dive. We're going to do three things. First, we're going to correct a historical error that the internet just keeps repeating about who really started the radio fitness craze.
Love a good myth busting.
Second, we'll see how radio just completely democratized health information for the first time. And third, we're going to uncover the absolutely bizarre secret life of one of radio's very first fitness gurus.
The twist.
It is a massive twist. I'm talking a famous Yale football coach, a huge insurance company, and a scandalous identity swap that I swear I did not see coming.
It's a wild ride. But before we get to the scandals, I think we need to set the stage. We need to understand the world before radio.
Okay, so let's go back, say 1915. If I want to learn something, what are my options? Because I take it for granted, you know? I just tap my phone.
Your options are limited, extremely limited. Information comes from two places. Things you can read, like books and newspapers, or places you can physically go, like a lecture.
Which right away excludes a huge number of people.
A massive chunk of the population. I mean, think about it. If you're illiterate, which was way more common then, or you're blind, or you're an immigrant who doesn't speak English well,
You're cut off.
you're completely isolated from the news. Even entertainment was hard to access.
What do you mean, like movies?
Exactly. Silent movies. You
Yeah.
had to read the title cards to follow the plot. So even pop culture required literacy.
So knowledge was basically a luxury good.
Precisely. And access to an expert was even rarer. You basically had to be a university student to hear from a top academic.
Yeah.
For everyone else,
Yeah.
you just had to hope one came to the county fair.
Until the early 1920s, the radio craze, as the source calls it.
And this wasn't just a new gadget. It was, and I love this phrase in the article, the great equalizer.
It transported people in real time.
Yeah. Suddenly, a farmer in the middle of nowhere could hear the World Series, an opera, a church service, at the exact same moment it was happening.
And in the 1920s, which were so segregated by class and race.
Heavily. A poor person couldn't just walk into an opera house.
Mhm.
But on the radio, everyone had a front row seat. It just shattered those physical walls.
The source also mentions it had a therapeutic effect, like in hospitals.
It did. Doctors saw it, cheered patients up. It cured loneliness. And because of that reach, they realized this is a powerful tool. This is how we can fight all the medical misinformation out there.
Because just like today, the 1920s were full of medical myths.
Oh, yeah. So doctors jumped on it. As early as 1921, the U.S. Public Health Service was broadcasting disease prevention tips over a Navy station.
And individuals, too. The article mentions Dr. Herman Biggs.
Yes, in New York. He was a serious scientist, a bacteriologist, but he knew how to speak to regular people. He'd go on the radio and talk about TB, diphtheria, even poisonous plants.
Universities got in on it, too, right?
They did. Tufts, University of Michigan. They were offering public health courses over the airwaves in 1922.
But there was a dark side.
There's always a dark side. Because there was no fact-checking, radio also opened the door for absolute frauds.
Okay, we have to talk about the goat glands.
I knew you were going to bring up the goat glands.
Tell me about Dr. John R. Brinkley.
He was a notorious charlatan. He got on the radio and promoted his cure for restoring male virility,
Which was?
surgically implanting goat testicles into his patients.
No.
Yes. And because he was on the radio, he sounded just as credible as the actual U.S. Surgeon General on the next station over. It was the Wild West.
So amidst the opera, the news, and the goat glands, this new thing starts to happen. People aren't just listening to health advice. They start doing it.
And this is where the Daily Dozen comes in.
Okay, so what was the Daily Dozen? It sounds like an order at a donut shop.
Far from it. It was a set of 12 simple exercises. Things like toe touches, arm circles. It was invented by Walter Camp.
The Yale football coach, the father of American football.
That's the one. He created this 10-minute routine during World War I to keep the troops fit, and it went viral, 1920s style.
So people were already primed for this idea.
They were. Victor Records was even selling phonographs for exercising by music. The appetite was there.
Which brings us to the big correction. The whole point of this deep dive. If you Google first radio exercise show,
You'll see the same answer everywhere. KYW in Chicago, 1924, with the YMCA.
and our source author, Donna Halper, says.
Not even close. She did the digging. The real start was 2 years earlier, 1922.
So who are the real pioneers?
Well, there were some early talks. A boxer named Harry Greb in Pittsburgh, a trainer named Leland Bell in Detroit. They give fitness advice.
They're just talking about it. Who is the first person to actually lead a workout? To say, okay, everybody bend and stretch.
That honor goes to a man named Arthur E. Baird, and the date is September 5th, 1922.
The birthday of the home workout.
It happened on station WGI in Massachusetts. Baird was an instructor from something called Kane's College of Physical Culture, and his show was surprisingly modern.
Yeah, I love the format. It ran for an hour, from 7 to 8 in the morning.
And it was segmented. The first 20 minutes were simple toning for business people. The next 20 were for weight loss. And the last 20 were for weight gain or building up.
It's basically a modern fitness app, and there's that great anecdote about how strange it looked from the outside.
Oh, yeah. This story about a little girl who ran out of her house screaming for the neighbors.
Because she saw her mom.
She saw her mother wearing these huge headphones, bending over and waving her arms around in total silence, and she thought something was terribly wrong.
It's the 1920s version of walking in on someone in a VR headset.
It is. It looks insane. But it caught on immediately.
So Baird kicks it off in 22, and by the mid-20s, it's a full-on craze.
It spreads everywhere. Philadelphia, Fort Worth. There was even a show in Texas that turned the exercises into games for kids.
But the real boom was in Los Angeles, right? Station KHJ.
Of course, Los Angeles. Their host was a Professor Barclay L. Severns, and they claimed thousands were jumping out of bed for his workout.
But my favorite part is the complaint they got from the farmers.
The farmers, yes. They wrote in to say they loved the show, but 7 a.m. was just too late for them.
I've already milked the cows by then.
They needed a pre-dawn workout. It just shows you how integrated it became into people's lives.
But the real juggernaut, the Peloton of its day, that was in New York.
This is where we get the Tower Health broadcasts. This was big time. It was sponsored by the Metropolitan Life Insurance Company, MetLife.
Which makes total sense. Healthier customers, they pay their premiums longer. It's a good investment.
And they spare no expense. They built a studio on the 27th floor of the Met Tower. They hired professional musicians, a live pianist, a violinist, to accompany the workouts.
And they hired a host, Arthur E. Bagley.
And Bagley was the star. He was funny, charismatic. He just knew how to connect with that invisible audience.
The show was a monster hit.
It ran for 10 years, from 1925 to 1935. Bagley received 2 million fan letters.
2 million letters.
That means 2 million people took the time to write, get a stamp, and mail something. The press called it the largest gymnasium class in the world.
So you have millions of people twisting and bending every morning. But anytime a trend gets that big.
The skeptics arrive. By the late 1920s, doctors started to push back against these morning contortions.
So who was leading the charge against the Daily Dozen?
The most vocal critic was a Dr. Jesse F. Williams from Columbia.
And what was his issue? Was he just anti-exercise?
Not at all. He was against this specific kind of exercise. He argued that twisting your body right after you wake up was actually harmful. He said it increased stress instead of relieving it.
That sounds surprisingly modern, like the debates today about HIIT, cardio, and cortisol spikes first thing in the morning.
It's the exact same argument. He also attacked the whole no pain, no gain mentality, the idea that cold showers and miserable workouts were good for you just because they were difficult.
He said exercise should be enjoyable.
Right. And by the end of the decade, a lot of experts are recommending things like swimming instead of the Daily Dozen.
But the MetLife show just kept going.
It was too popular to stop. It ran all the way to 1935. But now we have to go back.
To the beginning, to Arthur E. Baird.
To the guy who started it all in 1922. The author of our source, Donna Halper, got curious. She wanted to know what happened to the father of radio fitness.
Yeah.
And she found out his resume was, let's say, enhanced.
Oh, no, how enhanced?
Well, for starters, he claimed to be a graduate of Tufts College.
And he wasn't.
He attended for 2 years, never graduated.
Okay.
He also claimed to be a doctor, a world traveler, and that he was raised by his uncle, who was a circus performer.
A circus performer. That's a very specific lie.
All of it was a lie.
Yeah.
It was a complete fabrication. But the real story starts in 1935. Baird just disappears.
Why?
He had an ex-wife, and he owed her alimony and child support that he didn't feel like paying.
So he goes on the run.
He goes underground, changes his name to Craig Earl. And he doesn't just hide. He reinvents himself and becomes famous all over again.
Wait, what? Famous as who?
He resurfaces as Professor Quiz,
Get out of here. The Professor Quiz.
the host of one of the biggest quiz shows on CBS radio. He'd wear a cap and a gown, play the part of this brilliant academic.
Hold. Let me get this straight. The guy who invents radio fitness by lying about his credentials, fakes his own identity to dodge alimony, and then becomes a famous fake professor on a national quiz show.
That is exactly what happened.
Yeah.
He kept up the charade for decades. He died in 1985, and his death certificate says he was a pharmacist.
A pharmacist.
Just another lie for the pile. The truth only came out during a 1942 court case over that unpaid alimony. That's when the world found out that Arthur Baird and Professor Quiz were the same man.
That is just, it's wild. It shows you how easy it was to just reinvent yourself back then.
So, bringing it all home, we started this deep dive thinking at-home fitness was a new thing.
And it's clearly not. Radio proved that media isn't passive. A voice coming out of a box could get millions of people to stand up and move.
And that desire is the same today. Whether it's Arthur Bagley on the 27th floor of the Met Tower or a Peloton instructor in a fancy studio.
We want that charismatic guide. We want to feel like we're part of something, even if we're alone in our living room.
The tech changes, but the psychology doesn't.
But I keep coming back to Arthur Baird, Professor Quiz.
The cautionary tale.
Yeah. And it leaves me with this one last thought for you. In the 1920s, people trusted the voice on the radio. If the announcer said, "This is a professor," you just started him. You believed him.
And that trust is what allowed a guy like Baird to build an entire fake life.
So the question is, are we really any different today? With our verified blue checks, our TikTok experts, our perfectly curated online personas, are we actually any better at spotting the Professor Quizzes among us? Or are we just as easily fooled by a confident voice and a good story? Something to think about. That's it for this deep dive. Thanks for listening.
And check your sources.